Links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar, now over at Odyssey. Thanks to all the new members over there. So Star Wars has turned into a religion. If you're an SJW, please, for the love of God, stop watching. And if you subscribe, just go ahead and unsubscribe, because you won't enjoy the video and your comments are actually painful to read. The passive aggressiveness from 300-pound soy boys who pay for schoolgirl panties makes me insane reading those comments. I read them. I do. I'll give you the respect of actually reading them. But I'm like, why did you write this? Why did you watch a video you hate? Just please stop. Why are you such a fucking bleeding pussy? Okay, so J.J. Abrams is right about some fans treating Star Wars like a religion. Yeah, I'm gonna admit, and this is an L for those people who know you should have an actual religion, whether it's some kind of more organized thing or some kind of ethno-tribal pagan type of thing. To have a religion of the commercial bread and circuses is a personal L, and it's also a sign of a societal decay. So nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the soul. And what some people treat to Star Wars or Star Trek or all the other stuff like a religion of the secular, it's a giant commercial psyop, a branch of globalism to pull people away from tribalism, paganism, or Christianity. Anything with in-group preferences must be destroyed, according to their Hollywood's belief. However, the original Star Wars was pretty mild. I don't think it was subversive propaganda. George Lucas thought he was just making a classic adventure story. He had no idea it was going to be the monster hit that pretty much survived until 2015, when Disney started making the abominations that they did. The people saw that first movie, I think, by Rian Johnson, and they're looking at this and like, oh, what the hell is this? Are they gonna turn this around? No, I mean, they made a 2-hour movie. All 2 hours were bad. They're not gonna turn it around the second movie, or vice versa. I think Abrams did the first one. Then you saw the second movie, you're like, oh, this is just Disney now. Yeah, that's mask off Disney. They bought it in 2012. By 2012, people were thinking in their mind of like the energy of Pirates of the Caribbean, which was a few years before that with Johnny Depp, and they made like 3 movies that were just a lot of fun, and people think, oh, they're going to buy Disney, they're going to do something like that, and then you see these movies like, who took over Disney now? Because this is friggin' horrible. So no, I remember, because he was talking with Spielberg, and Spielberg made Jaws and Star Wars, and they were similar times, and I don't think either one thought those movies were going to be the classics that they turned out to be. So Star Wars was not intended. Oh, you are not easy on the eyes, J.J. Abrams. Didn't his kid do a Spider-Man comic or something? Star Wars was not intended to be what it was interpreted to be. I know Mike Miller is not a fan of Star Wars. Our chubby little hobbit. I know he's also not listening to this. The thing is, it was a great kids movie that adults also enjoyed. I'm not saying it was anything more than that. It was excellent. You gotta look at movies for what they are. So even low-budget movies can be excellent. Like Special Dead was a sub-$1 million movie that was amazing for costing $600,000. Or Clerks cost under $100,000. It was amazing. Or Stan Helsing was like a few $1 million, under $10 million movie, and that actually was a legitimately excellent movie. So Star Wars was a great movie for what it was, a great kids movie, but adults could watch it, enjoy it. Because the actors were in it. You had like the 3 main actors, or I guess you had more than the 3 main actors were excellent. I'm trying to think, like the ancillary characters were also happened to be good. It was just a weird, well, you can't say it's weird, because that kind of takes credit away from George Lucas and the casting director who put the cast together. I don't know who the casting director was, but to say something's weird makes it sound like it's just random luck, and it's like, it's not random luck. A bunch of talented people got together, but then you got to give Lucas credit for saying, well, yeah, but he's the guy who got those talented people together. He didn't just stumble on people. Who got the main cast was just had magic together, and even the secondary cast also had magic. So whoever decided on that was the true heroes. Anyway, and Empire Strikes Back, it's like that was more than a kids movie. That was a good, and the film work for the cinematography for all of Star Wars was solid. Even if it was a kids movie, you can look at that and go, there's some really excellent filmmaking in here. Even if the story is just a simple guy goes on an adventure, he learns some lessons. Luke Skywalker, he defeats the evil Soros character, or rather, he redeems Vader, his father, to defeat the that character, the spider at the center of the orbital web. But it was just a simple movie that was lightning in a bottle because of the actors. They had such chemistry together. They had three main actors and the dog. It was able to catch fire because similar sci-fi movies, and the robots too, the people who did the voices for that. What's that guy named? Anthony Daniels or something? Who, God, they were so disrespected in the later Disney movies. Because movies that came out around the same time were like Golden Globus, Kaufman type of productions, were really low budget and didn't take themselves seriously. I think the original Star Wars at the time, 70, I don't know, it probably started at 75, was like $7 million, and the budgets got bigger from there. But movies at the same time were like $1 million, sub-$1 million movies, and they looked at, I mean, they're all using the same cardboard wooden cutout spaceships and stuff, but Lucas just put so much into it. And then if you see behind the films of Return of the Jedi, how they filmed the scene where the Millennium Falcon by, who's that guy's name? I don't want to say that black guy, but it was that black guy. What's that guy's name? Lando Calrissian is flying the Millennium Falcon through the spaceship. So they put a camera on a rail, and they take pieces of the model away as the camera moves up a frame and takes a couple shots. They show you how you make it. It's like, it looked fantastic. And that was filmed in the 80s, and it looks better than a modern movie because those were practical effects. They were using real objects that had mass. Instead of even Lucas himself screwed up the CGI when he did the late 90s movies because the CGI wasn't ready yet. Anyway, it caught fire because all the other movies around it were like, oh God, like Battle Among the Stars type of movies where there's a spaceship that has tits for some reason. Though I like those movies too. So Lucas took the story seriously, and even when the people who were working on the movie at the time didn't take the movie seriously because nobody thought it was going to be so big. They didn't know what they were working on because you only see pieces of the elephant. They thought they were just doing a silly sci-fi movie, and they see the ridiculous costumes and the characters and the sets, and especially the wicked hive of scum and villainy, that that bar and those kind of costumes, think, oh, this is just going to be another Battle Among the Stars type of movie. And then they see it in the theater, or they probably didn't even see it. Like, people don't even watch their own movies. They probably heard the buzz like after the opening weekend, and like people were talking. That was back when word of mouth caught fire for a movie. And think back in your lifetime, when was another movie that had word of mouth like that? Realize, like, it's been like 40 years. It was like Jaws and Star Wars. Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom probably had some of that energy, not quite. But after that, it's like, oh, that was kind of the end of Hollywood at that level. E.T. for a kid's movie was a very big movie. But there's like half a dozen movies, and that's about all you can name. Though I will say in the 80s was like, for kids, schlocky, silly, goony, Gremlins type of movies, there was a lot of fun stuff in the 80s. But the fact is, people still have such a connection to it now is not healthy, which I know doesn't go over well on plastic fuck doll pop culture YouTube, which YouTube is cancerous as well as Hollywood, because it's all bread in circuses. Most of the goal of Hollywood is to destroy the West. And yes, I know how tinfoil hat that sounds, but once you put on the sunglasses, you'll never watch movies the same way again. You'll start finding the globalist propaganda in the movies, and you'll be able to label some movies as nothing but propaganda. Even subtle ones that people don't catch at first, like Blazing Saddles, where in that movie they're laughing at you, not with you. And he made Mel Brooks made a lot of fun movies, and people always view that one as the star in his cap, and it was good. It was solid. Watch it again. It's not quite what you think it is. I know people hear that and they just get pissed. It's still a good movie, but watch who the butt of the joke is. It's not what you think it is. They're not laughing at everyone equally. So I look at almost everything out of Hollywood now as cancer. In fact, the new stuff is probably going to be pure subversion. Like, I don't think anything new, I don't think there's anything that will slip through the cracks. I think the last great movie was the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and that was 20 years ago. And that's it. Hollywood is mask off woke now. Everything is going to push the globalist message or it won't get fun. Oh, looking at this cross in the Star Wars. There's the Disney Star Wars celebration. There's where they take the pictures in front of this background, this billboard background, and it has a like a star coming up from, I guess I could look for it and find it. And there's a bunch of upside down crosses, and it's symbolic, and I know it's a little bit of a reach, but every time you see Kathleen Kennedy or Daisy Ridley with this background, you're looking at these upside down crosses, and it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And yeah, I know it's a stretch. I get it's a stretch, but the thing is, I hate to sound this tinfoil hat. Like I know some people are into like. I don't know, what is it? Alliteration and numerology for some people who are getting a little bit far out, and I don't want to go that crazy, but like there is something to be said when you see a lot of symbolism, and it's like, is this confirmation bias or is it really here? And then you look at something, you're like, no, that was a weird design choice. And then there's Disney's got a kind of long reputation for that. Yeah, and the thing is, it's just too crazy that's just too crazy to talk about. Anyway, so Hollywood's mask off. Everything is going to push the globalist message, or it's just not going to get funded. And although I will say that BlackRock now is, I guess, rethinking things because the movies are just doing so badly. All this kind of diversity and feminism and Blonde Man is bad. It's like, oh, hey, the 500th movie this year has got Blonde Man bad. Stunning and fucking brave. Everything is going to be viewed through the lens of the Germans from 70 years ago. I mean, to the point where, oh, hey, not Raiders, what's that movie called? Indiana Jones. So you made 5 movies. Yeah, 5 movies. 3 out of 5 have the same antagonists, the Germans from a war 70, 80 years ago. Yeah, that's right. What are you, some kind of istophobe? It's over. It's tired. Can you just, why wouldn't you do communism? It's the time period. It was the 50s and the 60s. That's the communists. No. We're going to have time-traveling Nazis. That's developmentally disabled. Anyway, the thing is, you have people who are making movies who are brainwashed kids of brainwashed parents. That's how the generational propaganda works. A lot of hot words in this video. So they're just repeating nonsense that they have been programmed to say. They don't stop to question things or ask for the argument. They have learned that to publicly wrong think is dangerous. So they're making crap movies, but the audience isn't really on board because in their subconscious, they know something is wrong. All right, let me look for that image. Hold on. Okay, I found the one I know this sounds a little bit too crazy. It's like, you could always edit this out. Yeah, I'm not going to. So this image is repeated like every couple of feet. That the star, the lightsaber, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's a reach. Anyway, the thing is, like when you know the company is evil because of the movies they actually make, then you can start looking at things and go, oh, there probably is something. There probably is something evil to these people. So everything is false. Though I mean, everyone likes Daisy Ridley. She's done great. But what's this new chick's name? She's going to make the new Star Wars. Oh my gosh, what an abomination. So everything is false, sinister, and unnatural. Always make fun of Mike Miller, that chubby little hobbit stealing fruit. The Hollywood world is the mirror reverse world of below. It's reflecting the real world above, but it's all dark and evil. Hollywood's a machine. It's even more of a conspiracy theory than I can go into YouTube without sounding even more schizo than I've already sounded in this video. Great artist, though. I looked up some of his art. It's like $600. Okay, well, I'm going to have to admire him from afar. So when you watch TV or movies, just for once, take notes and think critically. What's the real message and who is pushing it? Anyway, as for Daisy Ridley and the cult religion of bread and circuses, Star Wars, that's over. Disney had their chance and they killed it. Star Wars, it was an organic story. It wasn't genius. It was just good and simple. The magic was in the original actors, but Disney takes things, F's them in the A and gives them monkeypox. It makes them diverse, lame, and BLT. That's propaganda, not organic storytelling, because grassroots stories are tribal, nationalist, how do I want to say this? Related to you and your family and your extended family, which is of your people, of like the nation, the Natal is it's ethnically based, it's of your tribe. And that's all those things I just said absolutely terrify Disney, who were only there to push $150 billion globalist agenda. Many classic stories are of the tribe versus the outside tribe who is trying to destroy. And the problem for Disney is that they are the subversive outsider who destroys everything they touch. Diversity Peter Pan, remember that movie? You're like, we didn't see that. Yeah, because it was in and out of the theaters. It's probably on, you can find it on Disney streaming or something. That movie didn't make sense because they had to kill the story to include girls in the Lost Boys. There's a scene in the book where they go, oh yeah, the girls are too smart to fall out of their strollers, their prams or something. That's why there's no Lost Girls. So we're going to make the movie and we're going to put some chicks in there? Yeah, make it diverse, lame, and BLT. Propaganda is when they tell a story in name only. It's bait and switch. Or Disney Star Wars or The Witcher or Willow or Rings of Power. There's so many. I mean, basically anything you see. Any story with diversity shoehorned in there, or the females put in there, it just usually doesn't make sense, but they do it anyway. Or to be accurate, they can't make it make sense. Someone like me could write it and it would make sense. How do you do that, Shakespeare? Because you just don't treat people like Mary Sue's. You have to treat people equally. And to a leftist in Hollywood or leftists in general say, yeah, treat people equally. They go, yeah, we just can't do that. That's a bridge too far. Anyway, the white pill, the whitest of white pills, is that while Disney is mask coming off, our sunglasses are going on and people are seeing the Disney mouse for the rat it is. And all of Hollywood, at one time, there might have been a secular religion of these stupid movies. But what people are seeing is that Hollywood itself is the secular religion or the cult of sanguine wine consumers, the cult to push a narrative. Look at Hollywood, study it, ask, where's the diversity of thought? Where are the stories from any perspective other than a globalist one? Doesn't it seem weird that Hollywood is so unbalanced? And once you really see Hollywood, you're going to see that as you get more modern, things get worse and dumbed down. The painful thing is when they have to dumb down remakes of movies because the audience doesn't have the science education to understand the earlier references. And that's a Michael Crichton book that was made in the 70s. I forget the name of the story. It's where they find a space artifact and it starts corroding, I don't know, metals or plastics or something. I think it was Michael Crichton. And it was in the 70s, and I think Disney made it in the 70s. They probably had the rights to it. And then they remade it later, and they had to dumb down the science, how they did their study about porosity and permeability and things. And, you know, as it's like it was just basic science that any high schooler should understand or any, you know, reasonable man test would understand. But they had to dumb it down when they remade it, and it's just accepted like, oh yeah, the American audience won't understand anything beyond the 8th grade level because since 1960s, the cognitive ability has pretty much fallen off a cliff, which does not bode well for the future. So let me as a YouTuber tell you, the pop culture audience, that pop culture is cancer. It's all a psyop used to destroy nations. So destroy Hollywood and video games. Yes, I'm sorry. Last time I included video games, I got a thread of deletion. Get some furs and some deer skulls, some wine and some smoke, and go to the forest and have some sing-alongs to Mars or Thor or something. Because Hollywood is designed to make you a passive soy boy. Yes, I know I'm horrible at YouTube. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Sincere thank you to everyone over at Subscribestar and Odyssey. You guys are making me kind of rethink the Odyssey subs. I look at this now. I go like, there's like you could. This is like I see how it's a part-time gig for people, or even with enough subs, I guess it could be a full-time gig for people. I see that kind of in a different way. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.